While it was still too soon to say if President Holtzman's import tariffs would be good for Valorian manufacturing, by March of 1912 they had already proven to be very good for the business of international smuggling. So, in a rare turn of fate, Ayer, Winterlich & Co. were doing excellently, from a financial standpoint. At the start of this chapter, they had just been paid handsomely for a shipment of Italian dress shoes.
Let me tell you something. I know we've had our disagreements in the past, but the next time I cross paths with that Klaus Holtzman, I'm buying that bugger around to drinks, man.
He's tried to kill me. Twice.
So? People try to kill each other all the time. I mean, it happens. It's part of the criminal lifestyle, is it not? Holtzman's tried to have me killed. Hell, Telesforce tried to kill me once and all.
I did.
When you get to be my age, you start to realise you can't hold a little attempted murder against someone. If you do, you'll just end up with no friends. I mean, think about it.
With their new influx of disposable income, the trio stocked up on fuel and booked passage on a barge that would take them across the English Channel to their next job. This job would not only take them back to the United Kingdom, but also see them crossing paths with a man who, if you're at all interested in the history of 20th century European magic users, requires no introduction. Aleister Crowley. Crowley was currently in possession of an artifact called a Zeitspinner, an expensive, complex and temperamental piece of 17th century technology originally designed to mitigate boat lag on long sea voyages. Their localized time-warping effects also had the secondary benefit of easing the effects of interdimensional travel on the human body, allowing people to travel back and forth to the care site without aging several decades and dropping dead immediately upon their return home. Naturally, the post-revolutionary Valorian government were not great fans of the Zeitspinner, and by 1912 all but one of these wonderful devices had been melted down for scrap metal. The last one known in existence was the one in Aleister Crowley's private collection. Over the years he had spent traveling the world and studying magic, Crowley had collected a vast array of artifacts, which he kept protected with the best security system money could buy.
Telsey, hand me that tension wrench.
Why can't you just whistle for it?
I'll fucking whistle for you in a minute. Colette, hand me that tension wrench, please.
Here you go.
About bloody time. I can't flip a coin within 10 metres of this thing. There are some heavy-duty anti-artificer wards on this door, and if I use a scrap of magic, they're liable to go off. So, I've got a plan. We're gonna do this the old-fashioned way.
What about wards for a regular thief?
Pricks like Crowley are too arrogant to worry about normal thieves. Mark my words. There's a flaw in every security
What were you saying again? Before the windowsill electrocuted you?
Here, this doesn't prove me wrong.
About the window? I think it rather does, darling.
About there being a flaw in every security system. Fucking hell, that stung.
I don't know. We've tried everything. The door, the roof, the windows. It seems like he covered everything. I'm surprised he can even breathe in there.
All right. Give me the fucking blueprints then. There must be another way in.
What's that right there?
It looks like it might be an old system of vents, but it's hard to tell.
Aye, I think so. It goes all along the walls of the house.
Think it's worth a shot?
Ach, it's better than nothing.
What Crowley had not counted on was just how amenable his underpaid groundskeeper, Mr. Erwin Cockfarthing, would be to a bribe and a bottle of smuggled Armagnac in exchange for his willingness to look the other way. He agreed that no questions would be asked about the bright green glow coming from the shed near the kitchen, nor why they needed access to the vents that ran from the great fireplace in the den throughout the rest of the house.
Perfecto! There's nothing in there to keep us out, and it's just big enough to fit the Zeitspinner through.
Great. Now how do you suggest we get up there?
Oh, now you're asking that. It's hard to say. Maybe I could put together some kind of automaton that could climb up. Let me have a look. Here, Telsey, if I sent a periscope up there, do you think you could teleport in, maybe?
It's not a bad idea. But in practice, I don't think there's any hope of me getting through that space without a very severe diet. One that also included chopping off my arms, legs, and torso.
Colette, maybe you could fit in there. You're skinny enough.
Maybe you could fit in there, Eisen. You're short enough.
Hey, watch it. I'm exactly average height, thank you very much. Wait a second. I've got it!
What?
It's the perfect plan! Honestly, I'm so fucking smart I scare myself sometimes.
Would you perhaps like to explain why?
Right, I'm gonna need a wooden box, a microscope, 4 mirrors, a hand drill, and a gas lamp, and some black paint. Let's see how Mr. Crowley Clever Clogs likes the sound of that. Put that round ye.
I hate it when he does this.
No, like you're one to talk.
Eisen continued to not explain his plan to his companions, even while he was in the process of nailing, drilling, and artificing together a device that resembled a cross between a camera obscura and a rudimentary slide projector.
You see, there's only so much stuff that goes into the human body, right? Blood, bones, organs, black stuff, so on and so forth, right? Boring, whatever. But all that stuff is made up of even smaller stuff.
Atoms?
Yes. And those atoms are made up of mostly empty space. In fact, every solid object, including people, is made up of mostly empty space. So, if you were to, say, project a spatial compression sigil into every atom of a living person to get rid of a bunch of that empty space, what do you get?
Crushed? Horribly?
Normally, yes, but not if you're me. You see, I've been fine-tuning the plans for this baby since back during the revolution, and I think she's finally ready to make her public debut. Ta-da! Say hello to the downsizer. Patent pending, but that's besides the point. Right, come on, quick. Stand here with me, everyone. Right in front of the vent. Make sure to get right in the beam.
Is this safe?
Oh, aye, absolutely. I've made 3 prototypes from this design and I've never had a single fatality.
That's a relief.
I mean, of course, I've never actually tested it on a living subject either.
What?
Brace yourselves.
The 3 of them were enveloped in blinding chartreuse light, and when they could see again, the dimensions of the room had altered somewhat.
Oh my god, we're tiny!
I had a dream like this once. I was back at St. Rita's and Sister Dolores picked me up and told me all the ways I was going to fail in life. She was really specific, too.
Oh, aye, and to think you both underestimated my genius.
I've estimated it exactly the right amount. Many times.
That's unsettling.
What?
You're tall.
Oh, aye, well spotted, Colette. So, what you're seeing here is the miniaturization normalization effect. The beam shrinks everything in a given instance to the same relative size. In this case, about 2 inches tall. So at last, Telsey, my love, we can see eye to eye.
I hate this.
Get used to it, short arse. Alright. Now let's get up that vent.
I think I need to lie down for a minute first.
Let us leave these 3 for a moment and return to several months prior to this very same manor house on the south side of Loch Ness. In the drawing room of Boleskine House, Ariadne Culver was making the acquaintance of one Alistair Crowley.
Mr. Crowley, you have quite the collection of artifacts here. I must admit, I'm impressed. And I can't complain about the company either.
What can I say? After 2 cocktails, I count myself one of the most charismatic men in Scotland.
I thought that was tea.
Then it must be your intoxicating presence.
I didn't come here for flattery, Mr. Crowley. Tell me more about your theories on magic.
Ah yes, one of my favourite topics, other than my own magnificence. The old order that claims that we must be bound only to one of the schools of magic is merely a set of chains forged to control those of us with true talent. The more science discovers about the world, the more archaic the academic approach to spellcraft becomes. The force that creates lightning also powers the streetlights, makes our muscles move, and allows the neurons in our brain to communicate. And yet, by traditional learning, each one of those things needs a unique spell. Total nonsense. Everything is connected. I myself am a disciple of both mentalism and nature magic.
Interesting. After talking to many of your country's supposed best and brightest, I think you may actually be what Operation Tiebreaker needs. Tell me, Crowley, do you know the name Choronzon?
It rings a bell. Wasn't that one of John Dee's Enochian spirits? From my studies, he claimed it was an embodiment of the raving and inconsistent forces that occupy the abyss between dimensions.
Not quite. What John Dee believed to be an entity was, in fact, a living person. He's a good neighbor, who acted as a liaison between the Kersite Queen and our own monarchy. It's been a while, but time being what it is on the other side, he should still be out there. Then we, of course, the British Empire, would have a powerful ally on the other side. That's what I need you for.
So, you're opening a portal to the Feylands, then. Quite the project. Alas, at the moment I can only open portals between the spaces of our world. The differences in the flow of time between us and them puts that feat beyond me.
Oh, I see.
For now. Rest assured. I have a line on a particular artifact that should solve that very problem. And luckily, it will be up at auction a few months from now in Edinburgh. And from there, the future.
See to it you get your hands on it. Then we can have a proper discussion.
A few dozen feet away, and 3 months later, Telesphore, Eisen, and Colette were making their way through the Boleskine heating system. Once Colette had recovered from her panic attack, and Eisen had gotten all of the short jokes out of his system...
Hey, Telsey.
What?
I ought to start calling you Tels too.
Almost all of the short jokes out of his system.
Stop.
All right. We'll split the difference then. Call it Tels 3.
I'm going to poison your supper tonight.
The three of them had made good time in getting the next phase of their heist underway. Of course, at their vastly reduced size, a few rooms felt like a few miles. Nonetheless, spirits were high. Little did they know that they were not alone.
Well, childish wordplay aside, I have to hand it to you, Eisen. This is one of the more brilliant schemes you've come up with lately.
Thank you. Mano, I don't want to blow my own trumpet or anything, do you know what I mean?
Guys, should I be worried about rats?
First of all, we're not going to run into any rats.
Eisen was correct. Boleskine House was, in fact, completely rat-free. The rats had been forced out of their niche by a much more efficient predator, the bone drinker shrew. The shrews, which are an invasive Kersite species commonly found in graveyards throughout the VSR, had been imported by Cockfarthing in 1910 as a way to deal with the rats which had plagued the manor house for years. As the reasoning went, while rats might eat grain, bone drinker shrews only drank bones. So, once they had eaten their way through the local rat population, they would, deprived of their main source of nutrition, starve to death. As of 1912, that had not happened.
And second of all, even if we did, we'd be fine.
Why's that?
Well, that's the really clever bit, you see, because the thing is, you see when...
Eisen?
It was at this point that a starving bone drinker shrew leapt out from the shadows. Its star-shaped, fang-tipped proboscis dripped with specialized enzymes that would turn Eisen's skeleton into a sort of calcium slurry. Almost instantly, the shrew fell upon him with a terrible shriek, only for Eisen to calmly punch a hole right through its skull.
As I was saying, that's the really clever bit. Now, you remember how I was telling you all about how we're all mostly empty space, right? Well, my machine just takes out, 3 to 5% of that space, depending on how small you want to get. But it leaves the mass alone. So at this size, we're super dense, super durable, and super strong. So no one wee little fucking whatever this thing was isn't going to give us any fucking trouble. Trust me.
What about a swarm of them?
Well, aye, I think that might fucking do it. Colette, would you like to do the honours?
I can try.
Well, you tried.
Run!
And where was Crowley as 3 miniature criminals raced madly through his walls? He and Ariadne were out for an afternoon at the Edinburgh University Museum of Fleshcraft and Anatomy. They strolled amongst its many strange, warped skeletons and jars displaying the work of fleshcrafters past.
I've already shown this to Gray and Churchill, but I thought it might be worth showing it to you as well.
Let me see. Alliance with Germany. Gunboat fleets. Experimental new range of firearms. Did you drop this in a glass of water? Why does the paper look like that?
A woman should be entitled to a few secrets. This is why we need to act now. Every day, our enemies are getting closer to overtaking us. Artifice is such a crass modality, don't you agree? It lacks the craftsmanship, the elegance of flesh. For instance, these.
Collected specimens of snail cat. Creators various.
These were in vogue in the Middle Ages. Snail cat is just a shorthand term for any cross with a mollusk.
I can see ones with cat bodies, ones with goat heads, one that's some sort of wading bird with a shell, which seems like cheating. Is that a human face?
The work of Joanna the Mad. I loved reading her grimoire during my studies. An incisive, brilliant mind. Of course, God forbid a woman do anything without being called mad in those days.
So she was sane.
Oh, no. No, not at all. But neither were many of her male contemporaries, and no one ever called Renaud de Bar Renaud the Insane.
Was he the one we saw with the
The elephant skull, yes. That was him. We experimented with a lot more mercury in those days. Braver times.
They were closer to their primal urges back then. They used to hold black masses, sacrifice goats, engage in sex magic. But in today's world, even the mages are too repressed to try anything interesting.
Unlike yourself, I hope. Now, about that portal.
The energy isn't right. It could have disastrous results if I try now.
That's what you said a month ago.
It's a delicate art, conjuration.
What a pity. I hoped for some manner of comfort in this difficult time. My darling boy is locked up in prison at the moment, you know. He did nothing wrong, of course, but still, there's nothing I can do. My only hope is to help the British rally their army and make the people that did this to him pay. But the waiting... Oh, a woman does get lonely in an empty house.
My home is always open to a woman in need, and my staff are quite discreet.
I should hope so.
As Crowley and Ariadne made their way back to Boleskine House to continue their conversation, Aya, Winterlich and co. were still struggling to locate their target.
Quick, shut the grill!
On it!
That was horrible. Do we have to go back that way?
Well,
No. No way in hell are we doing that again.
well, I'm sure they'll lose interest eventually. No? Fuck it, we'll find another way out.
Good.
So, where does one store a vintage side spinner?
The three of them looked around Crowley's rooms, seeing a vast panoply of books, abandoned orgone experiments, active orgone experiments, erotica, and baking supplies.
What does an occultist need with a recipe for cake? Oh, God. Never mind. Not that kind of cake.
Soon they found the master bedroom, where they were drawn to a conspicuously placed Bible on the bookcase.
Ha ha ha, fucking get in, man! Jackpot!
What was that?
Don't mind the housekeeper. She's been a bit minty ever since I tested that remote teleportation spell on her son.
Oh no, Crowley is home early.
Oh, for fuck's sake, I thought the groundskeeper said he was headed to the sea. How'd he get home so fast? Fucking hell, man.
Guys! Shh! Shush! Shut up! Listen!
Tell me more about the Himalayas. How many people died in that climbing accident again?
Oh, it's a very funny story, actually.
I know that voice from somewhere.
So do I.
Take me upstairs.
We're in Foyers. That was one of the towns on the map.
Towns do tend to be on maps, aye.
Ariadne's map. I made a list of all the places she circled, and this was one of them.
So then, I turned her into a fox and skinned her.
Fucking hell, that is Ariadne.
Quiet! They're coming this way.
Which way do we go? We can't go back through the vent we came in through.
If I remember the blueprints correctly, there's another vent across the room.
Does it go back to the groundskeeper's shed?
No, it goes straight to the fireplace in the drawing room.
Well, between a horde of whatever those were,
Bone Drinker
Drinker
Shrews.
and a drawing room, I'll take my chances with the drawing room.
I think we might not have the time.
Here, quick! If you push this book out a bit, we can hide behind it.
But enough about me. I'd like to get to know you better. More intimately. Take off your shirt.
No! Ew, put it back on.
I thought you'd never ask.
Leave the trousers. Lie down. Are you excited?
Yes.
Is that how you address a lady?
Yes. Mom.
Let me see how excited you are. Show me.
Fuck's sake.
Well, if you'd remove my trousers.
Not there. In fact, let's just cut off blood flow to that area for the time being. I want to see your heart.
Ariadne Culver. You're a cruel mistress.
Do not use my name. You haven't earned the right. You're familiar with the art of fleshcraft. Have you ever experienced it personally?
I haven't yet had the pleasure.
The pleasure is all mine.
Do you think if I jumped off this bookcase it would kill me?
Alright, whilst they're distracted, I'm going back to the fucking safe. You two start heading to the vent. I'll catch you up.
I'll give you the use of your hands back, but you can only put them where I tell you to.
Oh, out of all the rooms they could have done this in. Unbelievable, man.
The safe door creaked open, and while Eisen carefully extracted the Zeitspinner, Colette and Telesphore scurried to the vent, whose hinges, as it turned out, had not been oiled in some time. The trio froze, not daring to move an inch.
Did you hear that?
Don't try to distract me, you wicked little boy.
Ariadne, stop it. I'm being serious.
Oh, you're right. I heard something that time. The safe on your shelf is open, Crowley.
That's impossible. Nobody knows the combination to it but me, and I change it once a week.
Well, it's open. Come look for yourself.
Put my skin back on first. My ribs are cold.
Fine.
The books have moved. Must have been the ghosts again.
They're gonna see us. They're totally gonna see us.
Try to stay calm.
You ought to be more careful with this. It's caught on something between these two books.
Ah, bollocks.
What? You!
Fancy meeting you again, eh?
Eisen, run for it!
The company of Aya and Winterlich ran into the vents. Ariadne Culver dove after them.
Who the hell was that? Were we just robbed by mice?
Worse, socialists. I'm going after them.
As Eisen dropped into the mercifully unlit fireplace, he spotted a miniature cast-iron chariot drawn by cast-iron sphinxes sitting on the mantelpiece. It was a model that Crowley had commissioned based on his Thoth Tarot deck's illustrations.
There, quick! Get on, come on!
Telesphore and Colette quickly loaded the Zeitspinner into the chariot as Eisen animated the model Sphinx.
Watch out for that Christmas tree!
Why does he even still have it up? It's fucking March!
Ours is still up.
I'm getting to it!
This was Aleister Crowley's Antichristmas tree, which he put up every year for Antichristmas, an invented holiday which he did not celebrate, but pretended to in order to further lean into his reputation as the most evil man in the United Kingdom. His tree was still up because he was, as has been noted by many other historians, not a particularly tidy man.
Eisen, do you see those daggers?
Aye, here, take the wheel!
Eisen quickly sent a shelf full of ritual knives hurtling point first at Ariadne, pinning her tail to the floor just long enough that the trio could escape into the library.
That won't hold her for long.
And indeed, Ariadne was already quickly shifting into a form with hands to allow her to pull the blades out of her back.
Oh, well, it was nice being alive for a little while.
I've got an idea, but you're not going to like it. Telesphore, can you get us back into the vents by the shed?
The ones filled with bone drinker shrews? Oh, I see. We'll have to find a way to get back up into them.
Ariadne flung the Antichristmas tree at the thieves. Eisen dodged out of the way, the tree smashing into a high and freestanding bookshelf, which, when toppled, formed a surprisingly effective ramp.
We're going to have to jump. Oh,
I'm gonna throw up.
Aim yourself away from me first, ah!
Ariadne, what's going on? I hear screaming.
Those little bastards are making off with our Zeitspinner.
Well, there's only one place for them to run, and I can show you just how useful it is to have a conjurer by your side. Meet you in the shed.
Can you get the machine started remotely?
I'm not sure.
We'll give it a try.
Eisen had been using a staggering amount of magic, and it was starting to catch up with him. But despite his exhaustion, he closed his eyes, picturing the downsizer's control panels, its every dial and wire.
Come on, baby, you can do it. You can do it. Come on. Come to daddy.
Meanwhile, Aleister Crowley entered the shed through a portal, armed with his favorite mountaineering pickaxe.
All right, you nasty little buggers. When you come through that vent, I'll take care of you like I did Alexis Pash back in 05. Hail Satan!
Suddenly, the vent exploded outwards. The grill was knocked aside by the Sphinx-drawn chariot, closely followed by dozens and dozens of shrieking bone drinker shrews. They were all enveloped in the downsizer's beams, and suddenly the shed was very, very full. The newly enlarged chariot knocked over the downsizer as a horde of gigantic bone drinkers swarmed over Crowley, bringing him to the ground. It was at this point that Ariadne broke through the shed doors.
Crowley!
The bone drinker shrews scattered, their instinctive knowledge of when they were up against a bigger predator driving them to safety. They fled into the wilderness around Loch Ness, where they were able to thrive and establish a breeding population. Eventually, they came to the attention of Britain's various pet-fancying societies, the members of whom saw great potential in their soft white fur, large, soulful eyes, and whimsically star-shaped proboscis. So, as any British schoolchild knows, they were legally reclassified as a type of dog in 1920. A group of them still live in Windsor Castle to this day and are the beloved pets of Queen Elizabeth II.
Ugh, those worms. How dare they steal from me? Steal from you.
Who are those tiny people? And follow-up question, are forearms supposed to bend in this direction?
You're admirably calm in the face of partial bone liquefaction.
As I demonstrated to you earlier, I have long since learned to master the pain of the flesh. It is but one more type of pleasure. As for our plans, yes, the loss of the Zeitspinner is a blow. But I have some ideas about how to handle the time dilation. We may just have to get experimental. Tell me, what do you know of orgone energy?
Not much, but I'm a fast learner.
Let's never do that again.
Do you mean the heists or the shrinking? Because I have bad news about the heists.
The shrinking! Obviously. Though, yes, I'll be honest, I would also prefer fewer heists.
Alright, sweetheart, no more shrinking. Of people, anyway. Besides, as far as heists go, well, the good news is, once we get paid off for the Zeitspinner, we've got no shortage of nice, relaxing smuggling jobs. Hallelujah.
Good! Good. Where are we taking this thing anyway?
The head office of the White Star Cruise Line.
Ooh, fancy.
You know that super luxury ocean liner they've got? What's it called? The gigantic... whatever. What's it called?
Titanic.
Titanic, aye, sure. Well, Zeitspinners help with boat lag, right? So they're installing it in the first class cigar lounge. No expense spared for the comfort of their passengers.
Wow. The rich sure have it easy, huh?
You're telling me.
Making it huge and then shrinking it down again hasn't broken the mechanism or anything, right?
What? No, there is very little possibility of that. Absolutely almost nil, like totally unlikely.
Oh, good.
Besides, what's the worst that could happen if it did? Some caviar-munching top hatters lose a bit of sleep. Fucking they'll get over it.
Spoken like a man who doesn't appreciate beauty rares.
Well, some of us are just, naturally handsome.
Of course you are, my love. But I still need to take care of what nature gave me, especially by height. I didn't like us being all the same size.
Oh, shush you, admit it. You liked being able to look me in the eyes. Tell us, too.
I meant what I said about the poison.
As we all know, in April of that very year, the Titanic would be torn apart by an iceberg that existed in all points in time simultaneously. It is unknown if this incident is related. According to Aleister Crowley's notebooks, it was on Orgone Experiment 382 that he and Ariadne Culver first made contact with the care site. Today we understand that so-called orgone energy is a pseudoscientific dead end, but at the time it was treated by some as seriously as gravity, electricity, or magic. It is unclear what actually led to this breakthrough, but I believe that the results of daily practice, combined with Ariadne's ability to bolster Crowley's health and physical endurance, is a simple enough explanation. The mood-boosting effects of the extraordinary amount of sex that the two were having in order to fuel those same orgone experiments may also have had some small hand in it.
It's open. Yes, I knew we could do it. After all, I am a genius. Now all that remains is to make contact.
I'll hold off anything that tries to come through. Are you sure you can reach Choronzon from here?
To the mind, all distances are as one.
The flesh begs to differ.
Before we make contact, make sure you really want this.
More than anything.
To speak to the other side is one thing. To invite them to cross over is another thing entirely. There's something I think all of us could use reminding of from time to time. We humans didn't start calling them things like the good neighbors and the kind folk out of politeness. We started doing it because you can never tell when one of them is standing right behind you.
You forget yourself, Crowley. I'm quite aware of how to deal with our good neighbors.
I'll create a mental link. We seek the one called Choronzon.
I'd better do the talking. Choronzon, yo nami sinir sakimahir.
Vera Lamas. It has been a long time since I've heard a human's voice. Your pronunciation gives you away.
Are you Choronzon Phalaris of the Queen's Eye?
The very same. To whom am I speaking?
Ariadne Culver, Grand Witch of the Kingdom of Valor, and Alistair Crowley.
Supreme Rex and Sovereign Grand Master General of the Ordo Templi Orientis, Britain and Ireland branch.
Ah yes, Valor. That little failed colonial project. I suppose you're finally trying to return those spies of ours who were stranded over there.
Actually, I was hoping to request an audience with the... Wait. Spies?
Yes, after the bridge was severed, 3 of our operatives were never accounted for.
Oh, that's very interesting. Would you happen to have their names?
The Kingmaker Histories is a production of We Are Not Alive. This episode was written by Max Kriesky and audio engineered by Meg Malloy-Tootin, with Foley designed by Jam Wright and executive production by Henry Galley and Ashley Craft. Our theme was written and performed by Professor Shy Guy. A full list of other music can be found in the show notes, as can our social media links. This episode featured, in order of appearance, David Ault as the historian, Taqi Nazeer as Eisen, Blythe Renay as Colette, Josh Rubino as Telesphore, Addison Peacock as Ariadne, Ben Rowe as Crowley, and Elizabeth Plant as Choronzon. If you'd like to support the show, go to patreon.com/KingmakerCast. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.